Aloha from Maui. Usually, this time of the day, I believe it's Friday, I'm usually doing a Happy Aloha Friday video or a Akashic record reading pull or something for Aloha Friday. This Aloha Friday is a somber one. I am one of the luckier ones. I was able to evacuate with some of my belongings. There's many that I know, many dear friends, connections that I've made since being here on island, that weren't so lucky. Some have lost just their businesses. Some have lost their businesses and their homes. Some are still missing family members, friends, connections, trying to find people. When I left yesterday, there was very little in terms of resources getting to us. In fact, what we had started doing was, because of the property I'm on, our condo complex had propane and a barbecue. And we were basically emptying all our freezers, getting together as a hana, and eating off of that. And then propane ran out, or was running low. Water, basically, we were told our water was whatever was left in the pipes. And since then, since I've been here on this side of the island, I have learned that the water is unsafe to drink. So we've been without power for 4 days now since this started, basically. And yesterday morning, before I was actually away, the day before, I had packed up half of my car in anticipation for something. And yesterday morning, I took a drive because the road was open partially. And for all of you who are around the world, I want to say thank you to you for your outpouring of love and support and connection. Most of you have heard about what is happening here on island and have messaged me. And I want to say mahalo to all of you for the outpouring of love and support. It has maybe been easy. Hang on just a second. Nicole! They're here. Yeah, sorry. We kind of have a bit of an incident happening here. Sorry, I'm on live and this is happening. Part of the reason I'm going live to do this now is I'm here on the other side of the island, in Haiku, staying with a friend. And there are these people who are having good intentions of in support of what's on here, doing ceremony, but they're doing a sweat lodge and starting a fire of a sweat lodge. And so the owner of this property basically called the cops and told them to call the cops. So, things are sensitive here. So pardon the interruption whilst I'm doing this, but really, for any of you who are trying to help here on island or around the world, now is not the time to be starting a fire, especially here. The outpouring of support, though, when I went down to see things, I have been through some things in my life. I've been evacuated twice before, nearly lost my home one of those times. I was also in a fire when my eldest son was 2, and it was an electrical fire, and we both barely got out alive. So I was prepared, so to speak, for what has happened. And when I drove down to see what I could see yesterday morning, there's no words. A lot of you have been seeing the coverage and seeing photos, maybe videos, things of that nature, but the photos and videos, it doesn't compare to what what's really happening in real time. One thing I have to share with you is a blessing, and then also a bit of something that has upset me throughout all this. One of which is a blessing. When I came through, I had to go through the other side of the island because where I had driven down in the morning, it was shut. I was told by the police officer when I had to turn around that the fire had jumped. So all of you who are hearing the reports of the news that, oh, it's 80% contained and this is happening and that is happening, some of it's just not true. I'm going to just tell you from personal experience because I've been living it. Fire containment is not always the case. It's not an indicator. There was a hotspot that reared its head, and actually my only point of contact at the present moment at my place of residence in my condo complex, I have not heard from her since last night. So I don't even know if my place is still there. I hope and pray it is, but I don't know. And I don't know about the people who are there, if they're okay. And that was one of the hardest parts, was leaving everyone. But when I went to the other side of the island to come around the other way, the outpouring of the natives, God bless this island and the people on it in that sense. The native Hawaiians were actually out in force. I counted at least 30 to 40 of them. I stopped counting after that and was trying to concentrate on my driving. Basically, for those of you who know the island, it goes one car road through there for a good portion of it. And they were directing traffic almost like a construction zone, so to speak, where you hold off a set of cars and you allow a set of cars to go through and you bring through the other cars. There were all those natives that were in conjunction with the National Guard and with the police officers directing the traffic. So God bless them for getting us through safely. Was very appreciative of that, because it was hard enough trying to concentrate on driving, let alone the amount of cars and the ones coming one way and we going the other way. It took me about 5 hours total to get to the other side of the island here. I am safe. I am staying here with a friend temporarily. I've spent the majority of the morning trying to coordinate efforts and trying to do what my friends and soul family and connections there on the other side have not been able to do, which is to make sure that supplies are getting there, because there is no power. It's minimum several weeks, we have been told, and it could be even months. So I don't even know if I have a place that's there, if I'm going to end up living there anymore, because the infrastructure is not there without the power. And this is the thing that upsets me about all this. You see, there's this push all over the world, it's not just here, for electric cars and electric this and electric that. Back in the day when we had a power outage, before this whole push of this supposed climate change, electric this and electric that bullshit and AI this and all that, we could get by without electrics. Right now, I heard word this morning, whether it's actually happened or not, that Maui Oil and a couple of other places are getting fuel to people on my side of the island. But you know what? For the last 3.5 days, I have a friend who is in my building who ran out of gas and wasn't able to get to the other side of the island here and is stuck there because she has no fuel. Okay. And why? Because ABC Stores, who is the petrol station basically right across the street and up maybe a half a block from where I live, is, guess what? Electric powered. Times Supermarket isn't open, which is literally 7/10 of a mile from me, because electricity. Not even cash only. They're not even doing cash only where you can come in and get food. Okay, Napili Market was open for a time. Last I heard, it was shut. Food and resources and basic necessities of water, since our water was not even working anymore, and the sanitation system and the sewer system was backed up, so we couldn't even use and they want us to be in those conditions for several weeks. and to be patient is what has been told on the internet. And of course, we had none of this coverage. None of us got an alert. You know, the whole broadcasting system that's supposed to work. None of us got an evacuation alert. None of us got an alert that there was a fire. And this was even when I was coming down to come to work here on to Haiku. On Tuesday, when we still had internet and we still had electric power in some places on west side of the island, we still didn't. Air raid sirens get practiced all the time now. People say, oh yeah, because that's connected with the electrics. Well, supposedly these are supposed to work even without that. And we got nothing. We had no communication whatsoever. None. Nay, zilch, zilch, zip. We had no idea what was going on. We didn't know where the fire was. And actually the reason that I drove down and risked my life, because I didn't know what I was getting into when I went down there, because we didn't have any word of anything, I drove down there to find out for our place and the people around me what the hell was going on. Where was the fire? Did we have access to any roads? We had nothing. And all of a sudden now, today, because I'm here on this side of the island and have internet, I find out, oh, the radio stations are now going to start advertising things that are on in Lahaina. Too little, too late. Now, I'm going to say something that is probably going to be very unpopular with some people. Too bad. There is a whole AI push. There is a whole smart city push. And this is why this all happened. This was done deliberately. This fire was started by powers that be. I'm going to leave them nameless, but I'm sure all of you in the know what I'm talking about. And if this gets kicked off Facebook for it, well, so be it. I get censored. I've been censored for the last 20 years. But this was deliberate so that they could come in here and do their little smart cities and basically control everything with electric power the way they're controlling it right now of food supply and water supply. And, oh, let's get assistance from the government and let me control you some more. That's what upsets me about this, because people lost their lives. When I got to this side of the island and I had to fill up for petrol at Costco, because that's where it's the cheapest here on the island, I was pumping next to a man who was on Front Street. And he lost his home and he had found his son. Somebody collected him and brought him to this side of the island because they didn't know who he was. They just knew he was part of the fire and he was going to reunite with his 10-year-old son. And we sat there and held each other and hugged each other. And he told me that when they were evacuating, he was walking and driving past dead bodies everywhere. Even a firefighter who was still holding on to the hose, which is fire retardant and didn't burn, but he was dead. His fire hose and his fire suit was not tarnished because it's fire retardant, but he was gone. People who burned in their cars, and they have the nerve right now to say only whatever it is now, 50, 60 people have died. Hell no. There are thousands, and that's why I posted that video. Finally, some reporter said what I have been saying from the beginning. There are thousands of people who have perished, some people who won't even be able to be recognized. Most of you can see my Facebook photo right now. My Facebook photo and all my social media I changed over as me sitting under the banyan tree on New Year's, on Hogmanay. That tree is part of my heart. I've come to love this island, and to see what has happened is just breaking my heart. Yeah, I know there's spiritual reasons for it, okay? I know all about that, but right now, all of you cannot imagine what all of us are going through. Like I said, I'm one of the luckier ones in that I got out alive. I got out with some of my stuff. but not in livable conditions. And there's many of us that are like that right now. So we appreciate your prayers, your support, and in any way you can help. And I love and appreciate all of you. And whether I'm up to it or not, I don't know. But tomorrow, I am going to be at Ace of Cups. And I will be providing readings or a hug, or to receive a hug. There was a gathering that was on here down the road from here, but I just didn't make it because I wasn't up for it. But I've also got to work, and I haven't been able to work, and I've got to still make my rent. I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm hoping the owners will work with me. I talked to my property manager today, but I don't know. I've had offers from people here on island that I can stay with them, but I technically have a lease until end of January next year. So I don't even know what's going to happen with that, but I can tell you right now, because I haven't been working all this week, I don't know what the hell's going to happen with that. So I'm blessed in that sense, but it's also a double-edged sword. I love all of you, and I appreciate you, and thank you for all your comments. Thank you for all your messages. It's a very somber Aloha Friday today. I'll touch base with you again when I can. I love all of you. Save Maui. Pray for us. I love you.